standing position. I say all of that, and then I say, oh, where's my timer? Okay. All right, so we're starting in standing position with a little bit of the Winnie the Pooh with the cross crawl. So reach up to the sky, bend down, touch the ground as you come up, a little opposite hand to opposite knee. And then just take the time to go a little bit slow and see if you can find a little coordination with the breath. So when we inhale, we're going down. Exhale, we're coming up. And I can take my exhale all the way into that cross crawl. So you choose your own adventure with what breath works good for your cross crawl, but we definitely want that inhale as we go down because we open up the sits bones, we get that nice work into the pelvic floor, and then we exhale to come up, and that helps support the movement there. All right, that's time. Now we're going to go into a slightly wider stance and we're going to twist. And when we twist, I want you to think like you're trying to drive the car from your rib cage and let your arms be kind of heavy. And we want to swing our arms and let your arms swing and wrap around your waist. So they're going to go with a little bit of vigor. And then we want them to wrap and do a nice little thump or tap. So you get stimulated in the stomach, stimulated in the kidney, stimulated in the liver. A little bit of rotation in the spine, sturdy legs, hips stay facing forward. Go with as much oomph as you can find. All right, one more moment, Garrett. There, give a nice good tap around the waist and then widen your stance just slightly and then into a little twist with a pendulum swing. And now you're going to let your legs and your hips and your feet pivot with you. And arms, try to get them to swing nice and loose. We want to encourage just a little bit of gloss and glide into the shoulder girdle so that the shoulders are ready to do a little bit of work today. And then as you do this little bit of work here, just kind of notice how are your feet feeling. Take one more pivot, one more swing. And now we're going to take it into just a little tippy toe walk. So you're just going to walk yourself a little bit forward, a little bit back. We got some lunges and we'll stand on tippy toe with our lunges, do some lateral raises and a little palm flip. So we would just want to get a sense of like, how strong are your feet feeling? 3 more seconds with the tippy toe walk. All right, now take it into a heel walk. Lift up your toes and the balls of the feet and just walk a little forward and back on the heels. For the last 20 seconds, we'll do a little walking on the blade edge of the foot, but not everybody's ankles like that. So you're going to just take a second here to assess how are your feet and your ankles feeling today. Do you feel like you're in good control? Is your mind really connecting with the body? All right, now take it into the blade edges so that we're walking right on those outer edges of the feet. How far forward and back you go, we just want to stimulate the feet, get them ready to work. All right, that's time. Take a second, just give your ankles that last little twinkle and a wiggle. And now you're going to grab, let's say some nice heavy weights or one single heavy weight. You're going to go for what feels available. We're going to load up at our center. We're going to go into a nice squat position. You're going to do a side tap, come up, side leg lift, squat, tap, tap, come up, leg lift, leg lift. We've got 1 minute on the clock. Take it at a pace that feels good. Think of this as more of that sort of strengthening portion. But if you're like, I just need to get some cardio in today, then make sure it feels like a nice dynamic pace that suits your body. If you're adding that breath coordination, you definitely want that inhale as you go down. And then the exhale as you rise up. Nice work. And time. Beautiful. All right, one single weight is all we need for the next bit. We're going to be doing a calf raise and then a little play with some single leg work. So you'll do a calf raise, load up at your center, pick up one foot, pass your weight around your waist, catch your balance, calf raise, other foot, pass your weight around your waist. I've got like a bunch of blankets and squishiness underneath my mat. So position yourself where the ground feels a little sturdy. Give a calf raise, single foot, pass your weight, calf raise, single foot, pass your weight. And then find that good coordination of the handhold of your weight so it makes good sense. Pass it around, safely, carefully, of course. Calf raise and pass it around. Nice job. You could always just go a little staggered stance or big toe to the ground, something that just challenges your balance as you pass that weight around your waist. And time. Nice. Okay, now two heavy weights or single heavy weight, but holding it nice and close to the chest. We're going to go for a wide leg position, hip hinge. So you're going to step your feet nice and wide. For some of us, slightly pigeon-toed. SI people, slightly turned out. Comfortable leg position. Hinge forward to that halfway point, and then come back up nice and strong. And then you're going to follow the breath for the rest. You're going to inhale as you go forward. Exhale as you come up. And as you come up, put that last little squeeze in your butt muscles at the top. We've got 1 minute on the clock. The heaviest weight here that you can stand if you've got them. Inhale as you go forward. Exhale as you come up. And we shoot for keeping a relatively straight spine because it's that hip hinge maneuver. So you just want to feel like you're coming over the front pockets of your jeans, working into the hamstring and the butt muscles just a touch. Beautiful head position. I was just going to say, okay, make sure we keep our chin tucked and our heads moving with, but everybody's head looked so perfect. Chef's kiss. All right, that's time. Now we're going to switch to some lighter weights. So we're going to go into alternating lunges. We'll come into our tippy toes. It's going to be a lateral raise, a palm flip, you lower, and then you switch your lunge position. So it's a little bit of coordination. So grab the weights that makes the most sense for you to do that lateral raise. You hold it, you flip, return the flip, and lower down. And now we add that lunge. We've got 1 minute on the clock. Step into a lunge. Pick up your heels. That's going to challenge your balance. Lateral raise, flip the palms, rotate, lower down, switch your lunge, come into tiptoe position, up, flip, rotate, lower, switch your lunge. You've got it. And now just take it at the pace that makes good sense to your body. Slow and steady, nice, good control. Everybody's shoulders might move a little bit differently here. So go for what feels comfortable, strong, and normal. We're not trying to force it to look like any particular shape. We've got this nice, good core challenge. So we lift our toe or lift our heels so we get that good balance work going on. And then we just ask those shoulders to get a little bit of work in. All right, that's time. Put your hand weights down. This is our only minute of kind of vigorous work. It's going to be 5 heel drops and then jog on the spot. We've got 1 minute on the clock. We want those heel drops to be our bone density work. So put a little oomph into it, get that nice good impact. 5 consecutive drops, and then you just jog it out to get that bouncy recoil. Count to 5, and then back to your drops. To tell you where we're heading next, it's going to be an inchworm to a push-up. Think Pilates style kind of push-up. So you go walking out to your plank position, you do a high push-up, it's just one, you walk it back to your folded position, you come all the way up, and then you go back down. If you have mischievous wrists, I'll say maybe you put your blanket so that it's towards the front end of your mat so that your wrists feel nice and cushioned and protected. Five seconds left. All right, that's time. Finish up that heel drop. If you're working on it, give it a little bouncy recoil, and then make your way to the tail end of your mat. So we're going inchworm to a push-up. We're gonna go into a fold. You walk your hands forward carefully. Adjust your hands so that they're in that nice, comfortable position for your tall push-up. Lower down, come back up. Walk your hands back towards your feet. Come all the way up to a standing position, and then do it again. How fast you go. If you get only 1 in, that's fine. If you get 5 in, lovely. If you get 20 bajillion in, excellent. Just make sure that they're in good control. You can always put your knees down for that push-up, but since you're only doing 1, it's nice to put that good challenge in, and you just go where you feel the strongest. Think of it as just sort of a functional movement. Sometimes you're in places and you need that upper body to help push you up and away from things. Take your time as you go. You got 20 seconds left. Next up, we're going to be coming into a kneeling position. So if you have mischievous knees, you might like to cushion your knees with your blanket. 5 seconds left. All right, that's time. Now we're going to take it into a kneeling lunge position. It's going to be 1 minute one side, 1 minute the other side. So we're going to have one leg forward, one knee down. Get your heavy hand weight, and we're going into some hay balers. So we go from the hip over the shoulder. But before you get started, put your hands on your ribs. I'm not even going to set the timer yet. Rotate your rib cage. Rotate your rib cage. Get your legs in cement. And we want to feel like our trunk, that rib rotation is showing up before we get that weight into our hands. So find your good rotation, get your legs nice and sturdy. And then once you feel like, okay, I can feel my rib cage moving in a little twisted pattern, now grab your hand weight and away we go. Take it to your hip, toss it over your shoulder, keep your legs nice and solid in that cement. Nice work. 15 seconds left. All right, that's time. We're switching our lunge position. So take a second, reposition your blanket or anything else that needs to be cushioned or held up and supported. And then before we load up, find your rib cage and find that good rotation. So you want to feel that little spin of the ribs as you twist to one side, twist to the other, get your legs nice and solid on the ground. And then once you feel like you found that good rotation, now grab your weight, take it to your hip, toss it over the shoulder, add that little extra. Linda's got a little pace and a throw, so go for a little extra if you like a little extra. 20 seconds left. And time. Nicely done. All right, now we're going to be in a kneeling position with both knees on the ground. Cushion what feels right. It's going to be a bicep curl, overhead press, tricep extension. So if you go double weights, you're going to go, it's a little bit more like hammer curl, up and overhead, the weights meet. We take it into tricep extension, and then we lower with good control. Otherwise, you might go one weight, holding it sideways, take it up and overhead, bend the elbows, come back down nice and slow. Go with whatever amount of weight feels really good, but still think of it as a little bit of strength building. So a nice pace so you feel good, strong, a little bit of squeeze in your butt muscles so that your kneeling position isn't wobbling all over the place. I bring my weights together at the top because that helps me so that my elbows don't flare out too much when I'm trying to go into that tricep extension, but go where it feels good. You might keep your hands separated. You might shoot for the positioning that makes the most sense to your shoulders. If it feels like you've got a little bit of an arch in the back, tuck the rib cage down, keep a little extra firmness in your center. So it's all coming from the arms, the shoulders, and then we're making the belly pull in just a touch to keep that firmness. You got 3 seconds left. All right, that's time. Now we're gonna go into some sideways crawling. So if you have your booty band and you want to, I would suggest putting it around your thighs. It's gonna give that nice side glute resistance. So we're going to come into that kneeling position or tabletop position, and then we're just going to start to crawl sideways. We're going to just start with the straightforward sideways crawling, and then we're going to add a little bit of movement of the head. So start by finding your movement pattern. Crawl to one side of your mat. Crawl to the other side of your mat. For this one, if you have mischievous wrists, I'd say make fists with your hands. Though I find that sometimes that like flat hand work just helps work into the fingers just a little bit. All right, now you're going to add a head turn. So you're going to turn your head and hold it in the turned position to the direction that you're going. And then you're going to turn your head, hold it in position, looking in the direction that you're going. And then you're going to look in the direction that you're going away from. And then look in the direction that you're going away from. So you're just adding that little bit of challenge to proprioception. Where are you connected to the space that you're working in? Can you move safely and carefully side to side without having to see where you're going? 2 seconds left. All right, that's time. Now we're going to take it into a sit-ups, like the good old-fashioned sit-ups. No other way to say it. So for our sit-ups, I would say, please put your blanket behind you. It does not reduce the work that happens in the front of the body. It holds the support of the curve of the spine and does nice work just to give our bony prominences a little bit of cushioning and protection. It's good for the nervous system. It makes your nervous system know that everything's good and your back is safe. So just a good old-fashioned sit-up. Sit up, lower down. Use your breath for the rest. Exhale as you come up. Inhale as you return. Hands wherever you like them to best. Some people like old-fashioned hands behind the head. Personally, I like hands in front of my body. A lot of times I do my sit-ups and I add a little bit of a weight with a reach in the front. So if you want that little extra, grab a hand weight, hold it sideways, put it in front of you, do that little extra reach. Twenty seconds left. All right, that's time. Now we're going to take it into our glute bridge. we are going to want our yoga block for this one. You can also put the booty band on if you want that little extra something. I'm going to say put your yoga block either low height or medium height, long ways, so that it'll be underneath your feet. You're going to come down onto your back. You could have the blanket a little bit cushioned underneath the shoulders and the cervical spine. So that's a nice place to put it so that your back body knows everything is good. Feet up onto that yoga block. Lift your butt up so you're in a hover position. So you could slide at least one flat palm underneath your butt. Then we take it into our bridge. Exhale, lift your butt up and squeeze. Inhale, lower just to that hover point. That's the work. Stay elevated on your block. Cushion your shoulders if that feels good. Make sure that the block feels relatively sturdy underneath you, and we stay in that lift and hover the whole entire time so the butt doesn't touch down. If you've got the booty band on, you want to think about keeping about 2 fist width distance of space between your knees. And if you need just a touch more challenge, arms are going to float up in front of the chest so that the arms come out of the way and your bottom half has to do all the work. Nice work. 20 seconds left. And time. Beautiful. Okay, slowly bring it down. Step your feet off. Give a little windshield wiper action just to make sure that the low back feels a little bit soothed. And then once you've windshield wipered just enough, now we're taking it into some side lying position. So we're going to start with side leg lifts. 30 seconds of work. You're just going to bend that bottom knee and the top leg is coming up and down. You'll want your yoga block nearby. After 30 seconds of this, we'll go into a little open book twist. You can add a little bit of load there if you want to, but I'll say for the open book twist, you're going to want to go for your lighter hand weights. 10 seconds left. All right, now your top leg knee is going to rest on your yoga block. For my yoga friends, you know, medium setting, medium height, long ways. Get it underneath your leg. And then once you've got it there, if you want that hand weight, you're going to use your hand weight, but keep it nice and close to the front of your body. If you get into that open book position and it stresses out your shoulder too much or tugs too much in the armpit chest, I'll say maybe leave the weight off. Go where you're in good control. We got 30 seconds of work. Take your time, follow your breath. Exhale as you open up. Strength building, grab the weight. Mobility work, leave the weights off. All right, now we're going to come back into this closed position. Leg is still resting on the block, and now the bottom leg is going to do the work. So straighten out that bottom leg, and it's doing that inner thigh leg lift. I'm just moving my block so that you can see. Keep that leg supported on the block, and the inside leg is doing the work. We got 30 seconds of work here. You can support your head, get as comfortable as you can, and we just want to shoot for making that inner thigh do a little squeeze and lift, and a nice gentle return. Ten seconds left. Nice job. Okay, we're flipping around to the other side. I'm spinning myself around so I'm facing out to you. You flip yourself around in a way that makes good sense. Come into that side lying position so that the top leg can do the work. Just that nice good side leg lift, lifting up and lowering with good control. We got 30 seconds on the clock. Take your time as you go. It's not about how high that leg can go. It's about how controlled can you go up and how controlled can you come down. All right, that's time. Now we're going to take it into that open book twist. So take your yoga block. For most of our proportions, medium height, long waist, leg comes up onto the block. Then we take it into that twist. So we close in the front, we open to the back, add a hand weight if it feels good, but keep it tight to the body. Find that open position and just make sure that you're not yanking too much into that armpit shoulder area. Go for the work that makes the most sense to you. Mobility work, empty-handed. Strength building, load up lightly. For the rest of it, we follow the breath. Inhale as you come in, exhale as you open up. All right, the next time you come into that closed book position, stay there, adjust your block as needed, but now it's that inside leg that's doing the work. So we prop the upper leg on the block and the inside leg is lifting up and down. Get yourself nice and sturdy, and then away we go. Two seconds left. And time. Nicely done. All right, now we're going to take it up to a seated position. Sit on your blanket, sit on your yoga block, whatever feels good, but you're going to grab your toe band and we're putting the toe band around the two big toes. And then we're going to be seated in a staff-like position or just legs out in front of you, a little bit of an L shape with the body. Yoga block underneath the butt or blanket underneath the butt. For some of us, this L shape doesn't feel great. It feels like we want to kind of roll into the back a little bit. So sometimes we just put a little something underneath the hips to get that nice upright spine. All right, get a good spread of your toes, and then we're going big toes, small toes. So the big toes go down, small toes come up, big toes go up, and the small toes go down. Slow and steady. Keep a good spread in your toes, and you want to feel like there's a little bit of space between the two big toes so that the big toe is getting pulled into the midline. Notice if you're holding any tension in your jaw. 10 seconds left here. All right, now we're going to keep that toe band around our toes. You're going to try to maintain that little bit of space between the toes. You're going to roll the foot and point your toes, trying to maintain that little bit of space between the two big toes. Then take it into a Barbie foot, pull the foot back into a dorsiflexion, scrunch up the foot, and the whole entire time there's that little tug on the toe band. So we're going to point the toes, stretch them all the way away. Barbie foot, pull it in dorsiflexion, scrunch up the bottom of the foot, and then relax. And then we repeat the process. Point your toes, stretch them all the way away, Barbie the foot, pull it in dorsiflexion, and then scrunch. Go nice and slow so you can take your time to feel that little tug on the band. "15 seconds left." I love the way my hands try to help. 'And time. Woo! Take a second. Move that band out from your toes. Give your toes a nice soft wiggle. Give your legs a little bounce. All right, then once you've bounced your legs just enough, walk it into a butterfly position. Peace fingers are going to grab the big toe, and you're just going to give it a little pinch and a little pull. So you're going to give it that little bit of traction like you're trying to pull it forward. And then if you can do the little maneuver like the cigarette roll, so you pinch, you pull forward, keep it in that slight forward pulled position so it gets that little bit of traction, and then wiggle the toe a little side to side. It's nice for the bony structure. If you can fold a little bit further into it, fold a little further into it, take a second there, notice your breath. All right, release your toe hold. Just let your hands wrap around all 10 toes like you're trying to warm them up just a little bit, and take a nice big breath. Nice. And then when you're ready, come up nice and slow. For the next bit of work that we're gonna need our netted massage balls. You're gonna want your little mini massage balls, and you don't need your hand weights anymore, but we do want to keep our yoga block around. So get your yoga block nearby, get your massage balls set up. And then once you've got your gear nearby, we're gonna start sitting on our yoga block. For my yoga friends, Malasana, that nice low yoga squat, I'll say set your yoga block, medium height, wide setting, put your butt up onto the block so that you can come into that comfortable enough squatted seat. I'm gonna scooch mine back just a touch. All right, so then once you've got your butt onto the block, you're gonna take your little mini balls. They're gonna go ball toe mound, that bubbling brook point. So think between big toe, second toe, underneath the ball toe mound, there's that sweet little groove. One ball is going to go there, and then one ball is going to go under the heel. And then once you've got your way there, we're leaning into it. So you're going to put the back of your arm, your tricep, onto your kneecap, and you're going to start to get a little bit of rotation. That slight forward body weight hopefully feels nice enough on the balls underneath your foot. And then this little touch of myofascial release, we use our own body to get that myofascial release. We're just working into the tricep and then adding that little touch of rotation. All right, now you're going to do a little hammer fist, and you're going to lift your toes. So as you put the fist down, lift your toes, and then as you return, lower the toes. So to go a little bit of a coordination. One goes up and one goes down. Notice if you're holding any tension in your jaw. Take one more moment there. When we hit some of the parts of like armpit, chest, shoulders, and upper traps, just make sure it feels like a nice place to be in your body. We don't want to be punishing ourselves. All right, so take a second and just put your balls in like a nice little position so you can just give it a little soft roll. Any direction you like, just roll around the bottom of the foot, give it that little softness, that little sweetness. Take a second to just roll it out, and then when you feel ready, we're going to set it up to the other side. So one mini ball goes under that ball toe mound, that bubbling brook point. One goes under the heel. And then once you've got your way there, then we take the back of the arm to the kneecap. So we get the tricep into the kneecap, and then we're taking it into rotation. So we go in and we go out. Nice. One more in and out, and then we take it into that hammer fist with the toe lift. So we go up with the toes, down with the fist, down with the toes, up with the fist. One more moment there. And then when you're ready, release just enough and then move those balls so that they're in a nice little place where you can just kind of roll them around the bottom of the foot. Soft and sweet for the bottom of the foot this time. All right, and then once you've rolled out your feet just enough, feet off the ball, walk your legs out to a really nice width, and you're going to push your elbows into your knees or your inner thighs so you get that little slight sense of stretch feeling or positive stress. Sit up a little bit taller, lift up through the crown of your head, little intentional push into those elbows. Take a nice big breath. And now add a little bit of resistance. So imagine your elbows are pushing out and your knees are pushing in, like you're working those inner thigh muscles, and you're just going to hold that steady push and hold it for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Soften, come off of your block. Block is going to come out in front of us. And then you're going to now grab your net of massage balls, and you're going to put the net of massage balls around your Achilles tendon. And then we're going to turn a little sideways. So you're going to go into the Achilles tendon, spin your knee out. And we want it on the yoga block just so the foot has a little bit of lift and a little space to move, but make all the positions comfortable for your body. And then once you've got it into that, get as close to the ankle Achilles tendon as you can, turn the leg out, and then point and flex your foot. When we go into the inside of the ankle or inside of the Achilles tendon, adjust your legs, adjust your hips, and adjust your knee so it feels comfortable and held in a way that makes good sense. Take one more point and flex on this side, and then we're going to turn it in. So you're going to turn in and you're going to adjust your balls so that they land. You want to be into Achilles tendon and then slightly to the inside. And then once you've got your way there, come back to point and flex. And then just make sure hip feels good, knee feels comfortable enough. Take one more moment there. And then when you're ready, we're going to go into the calf muscle. We're just going to adjust the block, adjust your balls, thickest, meatiest part of the calf muscle, get it to rest right onto the ball, and then just a light little windshield wiper action. So there's like lots of different ways that we can approach our body. What are we tending to? Sometimes we're attending to the muscles, sometimes to the bones, sometimes to the fascia, sometimes the ligaments, sometimes the tendons. So there's just sometimes where the pace feels a little bit different, or the depth that we put into it feels a little bit different. So for this particular one, we've got the muscles getting that little bit of compression, and then we're doing this gentle rocking motion, and that's going to be that nice rhythm for the fascia. So they take the time to just allow it to be just a little bit soft, a little bit rhythmic, rather than trying to like into the muscles. Let the muscles just kind of rest against the ball. Take a few more wiggles of the leg. Nice. One more moment there, and then we're just passing that on over to the other side. So lift off or move over in a way that makes good sense. Come into that thickest, meatiest part of the calf muscle. Get the leg to be in a slightly restful position, and then that light little windshield wiper action. Nice. Take one more moment there. All right, now we're going to separate our balls from the net. So we're going to go one in a high position and one in a low position. We're going to be coming down into a prone position. We're going to want our yoga block. If you have tender hips, I'll say make sure your blanket's nearby so that you can cushion around any places that might want. We're going to start by going into the pec and pec minor. So somewhere between the collarbones and the armpit, there's that nice little triangle. Think of that triangle, and we're going to sit our ball right into the triangle, but we're going to use our yoga block. So we're going to start in position so that we can just get one ball into that armpit triangle between the collarbones and the armpit. Now, for some of us, this might already be like enough. You might be hearing like, all you can do is breathe, and that's wonderful. If you can add a little touch of movement, we go up and over and then reach behind. So we get a little bit of shoulder rotation going on, and then you just kind of hold that yoga block in place. You want to make sure that ball stays snug into that triangle between the collarbones and the armpit. So we're in pec, pec minor, and then we're adding a little bit of movement. One side might be very different from the other. So as you go along, don't expect them to be symmetrical and don't try to force them to be symmetrical. We just want to see what shows up. Where do we find movement? Where do we find any sticky places? Can you breathe comfortably the whole entire time? Go for one or two more rotations, and then we're going to move the location of the ball. And then we're going to want the second ball, because the second ball is going to come under the psoas. So now you're going to come up into that muscle that's at the front of the armpit. So going in just a little bit further towards the armpit, adjust your yoga block so it supports finding that spot. And then your other ball is going to come into, think psoas, hip flexor area. So think about where that front protruding hip bone is. You're going to go in about 2 inches, maybe slightly up. So you're in the soft tissue of the abdomen. So it's a little crisscross pattern for the fascia. So you're going to get the ball into the psoas, or that front of the hip, and then the other ball on the yoga block or off. It's going to be like, what's your proportions look like? Get it into that muscle at the front of the armpit. And then once you've got your way there, the leg of the psoas. So for me, I'm on the right armpit chest muscle, and I'm down on my left psoas. So now left leg is going to do a little bit of work. So you're going to do a little bend and straighten, a little windshield wiper action, just adding that tiny touch of movement in any way that feels good. Little side to side, a little lift and lower. Check in with your breath. Take one more moment there. And then when you're ready, let the leg lower and give a little hip slush. Just wag your tail a little side to side. Beautiful. One more little hip slush, and then we're going to take everything off so that we can move it on to the other side. So now we're going to readjust, take that bottom ball out of play for a moment. Then we're finding that nice little triangle. So think where your collarbones are, somewhere between the collarbone and the armpit, in that nice little triangular point. So we're not on the breast tissue, we're on that muscly tissue. And then we get onto the block. And how you spin the block and how you get it where you want it to be, sometimes it just takes a minute to find that sweet spot. Always on my right side, I feel like it's easy to find the spot. And then when I'm on my left, I'm like, I got to do a little wiggling. So find a spot, see what you can find. Take a moment to notice your breath. For some of us, just staying still is going to be where it's at. That's plenty. You're going to get lots of good work just by moving with the breath. If bigger movement feels good, then you take that hand and you start to find that big overhead reach, like you're reaching across the corner of your mat, and then tucking your wing behind. So we're getting that nice shoulder rotation work. But you do want to make sure you're breathing comfortably the whole time. Myofascial release work is beneficial. It's not meant to be punishing to the body. So we want to make sure we're going places where it feels good, where we come away from it and we feel energized. We don't feel like we're bruising our body. And I like to take the time to notice, do I feel like there's limitations of movement one side compared to the other? Definitely. We don't hold perfect symmetry in our body. So just, I like to pay attention to see what shows up. Take 1 or 2 more rotations if you're going with that arm movement. And then when you're ready, we're going to reset it up so that we find that new spot. So you're going to go armpit chest muscle, so that muscle that's right at that front of the armpit, and then the psoas. So we come down into that right hip point, move in about 2 inches, maybe slightly up. It's all just going to depend on where you find a little bit of nice sensation. Find your armpit chest. Find your psoas. Soften into it for a second. Make sure you can breathe comfortably. And then if all feels good, the leg that's got that psoas work going on is going to do the little bend and straighten and the little windshield wiper. As you're doing that little bit of leg movement for your psoas, I think it's just kind of neat to notice, like on my left side, it was like definitely more sensational. My right side feels pretty mild in comparison. So I just like to notice those little subtle variations that show up. Take 1 more moment. And then the next time your leg floats down, give it the little hip slush, just moving your hips just gently side to side in that nice rocking motion. All right, 1 more moment there. And then we're going to flip around onto our back and we're going to take it into the traps and upper traps. And we're going to use our yoga block to be a support team underneath the hips. But that is going to be an optional position because not everybody likes that little extra bit of height. So you're going to flip yourself around. And when we're talking traps and upper traps, we're thinking those nice meaty upper. So think where if you just throw your hand up over your shoulder, somewhere between the shoulder blade and your neck, that's what the muscly group that we're going to shoot for. And then we want our yoga block just to be available so that we can come with it underneath our hips. So move any props that don't benefit, get those balls up into that upper trap area. See what you can find. Sometimes I get them like sort of wedged in and then I pick up my butt and glide up just a little bit so I can get them really nicely into the meat of the muscle. But then once you get there, give a second, let it settle, let your breath come in and out. Notice how you feel. Does it feel like your balls are evenly placed? Do those little wiggles to readjust. And then once you feel like you've got the balls in a nice position, you can move your shoulder heads and they stay in place. Ask yourself, how would it feel to lift your butt up and slide that yoga block out underneath your butt? So it's going to offer that supported hip bridge position, but it does put that little bit of body weight into the ball. So you do want to make sure that feels good first. And then take a moment just to check in with your breath. All right, now we're going to start with the most superficial fascial movement. So you've got a nice bit of length in your neck. You've got this nice elevated position if you've got the block underneath your butt. And you're going to purse your lips together and smush your lips from side to side. So straightforward head position, looking up towards the ceiling with your eyes. Lips together, smush your lips from side to side. All right, now you've got that nice smushy lips idea. Now you're going to see if you can smush your lips at diagonals upward. So you're going to keep your lips pursed together and you're going to try to smush your lips up at a diagonal to the left and then up at a diagonal to the right. And don't worry about it being perfect. Think of every cell of our body is connected to every other cell. There's no place where there's gaps or holes or breezy airways, right? Everything is connected. So as you pull on your facial muscles and the fascia of your face, it gently pulls the fascia all around it. So you've got a pull in your face that we're doing some active work, and it'll gently pull in like subtle little places into those upper traps. So give it one or two more good diagonal smushes of the lips. All right, now your left hand's going to reach up and over. It's going to grab your right eyebrow. It's going to lift your right eyebrow up into a nice little surprise, a little lift, and hold that lifted position and intentionally blink your eyes. Go for about 10 good intentional blinks. And then once you've done about 10 good intentional blinks, take a second, release that eyebrow, and we're switching sides. Right hand's going to reach up and over, catch hold of that left eyebrow, lift it up so it's in that slight bit of surprise. And then we do 10 intentional blinks of the eyelids. Once you've done about 10 intentional blinks there, you're going to pick your butt up away from your block. It's going to bring you into that deeper sensation. And then you're going to roll your shoulders around, down, and back, keeping your butt in that slightly higher lift, making sure it feels good, though. They should feel pretty gummy at this point. Take a moment to notice. Move that yoga block out from underneath your butt. Slow lower. Think one vertebrae at a time. How slow can you go to lower your spine back down to the ground? And then once you've come completely down, give yourself a little hug. One arm on top, one arm on bottom. Give yourself a hug. Take a big breath and breathe into the squeeze of your arms. Open your arms up just a touch so that we can recross. Left arm on top, right arm on bottom. Give yourself that nice squeeze. Unwrap your arms, use your elbows, use your hands. Come up away from the balls in a way that feels nice. Sit up for just a second. Take 3 cat-cows. Inhale, lift your chest, lift your chin, arch your back. Exhale, round your back, round your shoulders, tuck chin to chest. Inhale, lift your chest, lift your chin, arch your back. You want to feel like there's a little bit increased blood flow coming back into those upper traps. Exhale, round your back. One more just like that. Inhale, lift. Exhale, round. And now we're going to move the balls down so that we're going to come down into like low back sacrum area. So a little bit into the bony structure of the hips. So we're not high above the crest of the hips, we're into that. But we want to feel like if I said rough up your low back and your hands land comfortably there, we want to feel into that spot. And that's where we're going to get our balls to land. So come back onto your back, lift your butt up, slide those balls underneath. And then once you've got your way there, walk your feet out just a little bit wide, little baby windshield wipers with the knees. And then you just want to make sure that the balls feel like they're in a good position and they feel secure underneath you. Walk your feet back in so they're roughly hip width distance apart. Hands are going to be your anchors down in the ground. And now you're going to take your legs for a little bit of a march. So you're going to pull your knee up towards your chest and you're just going to alternate one side and then the other. If you get here and the work doesn't feel good, if you find that the balls are in a place that it feels just more painful than anything nice, move them to a location that feels good. So maybe for some of us it's slightly wider, for some of us it's a little higher, a little bit lower. So you just want to make sure it feels like a nice place to be. All right, now the next time the right knee comes up towards the chest, stay there. See if you can catch a little handhold of the knee, and then your hand's going to do the work. You're going to just draw that knee in a little gentle circle, circle in one direction. Circle the other way. You're going to keep your knee in that slight lifted position, but you're going to shift your hips slightly over to the left. You want to feel like the balls kind of roll with you. So as you shift your hips, the balls roll a little bit and you come a little bit off sides of the spot that you were on. So as you roll the hips over to the left, you feel the ball a little bit further into the right, and then hang on to that knee for just one extra second. Compress the ball into that space. Take a nice big breath. Breathe like you're trying to breathe down into your butt bones. Lovely. Slow release of that leg, and then we're coming back to center. So you shift your hips back into center position, adjust the ball so that they feel pretty good. Bring that left knee up towards your chest, and then take that left knee and draw it in a couple of circles. Circle in one direction. And then circle the other way. Beautiful. All right, now we're going to keep that knee towards the chest, and you're going to shift a little bit. So the hips are going to shift over to the right. You're going to feel that ball move a little bit slightly over to the left. Find that new little sweet spot. Hang out there for a second. Ease into it. So you want to think like your body melts over the ball. So take a big filling up breath. Breathe like you're trying to breathe way past the ball underneath your low back down into your butt. All right, bring it back in nice and slow. Set that leg down, lift your butt up, move those balls out from underneath you. Use your arms, use your elbows, prop yourself up, come up nice and slow. We're gonna grab our block for one last thing. So you want your yoga block, and we're gonna be, I like deer seat because it just kind of gives you that little extra something into like the movement of the hips. So you're gonna put your yoga block tall setting. You're going to go single ball, and it's going to go underneath your forearm, and you're just going to see maybe medium setting. You're going to just find the position that feels good. I'm going to spin sideways. So we want the ball to be so that we can flip our upper arm. My brain suddenly found no words. So we want to be in this sweet little groove. Think about your thickest, meatiest part of that forearm, right? If you push your fingers into it, you're going to feel there's this little part that's a little flatter than the rest. Look for the flat. That's the place where we want our ball to land. So you're going to look for the flat, and then you're going to see if you can get your arm to rest on that flat, but it's in an upside down position. And then you hold your arm in place, and you just take a moment to see if you can open and close your hand. But you want to go nice and slow. So this is one of those fascial lines that it's like all the way connected up into the shoulders and up into the jaw. So we just want to go slow, be mindful, give it that like loving, caring movement. Notice your breath. One more moment, and then just little tiny micro circles, little bit. Let the hand release so it's in an open palm position. And I'm just kind of using my hand that's on the inside of the arm to sort of drive the car. So you're just smushing some little gentle circles going in one direction. Maybe go in reverse. And then when you're ready, we're going to switch the work to the other side. So come off for a second, give it a little twinkle, give it a little wiggle, adjust your deer seat if you want that little hip mobility bit of work, and then take it to the other forearm and just find that little flat spot. You would just kind of push in with the pads of your fingers, and one spot just feels like there's a little flatness to it. Find your flat, put that ball into the flat, other hand comes on top, and then we put a little bit of compression and then open and close the hand. Open palm, hand that's on the forearm is going to do the work, and you're just doing little smushy circles, little tiny micro circles. You're not getting very far. It's just soothing into that now melted forearm and allowing just that little bit of gentle movement to come in. And if you're smooshing in one particular direction, reverse and go the other way. Nice. One more moment there, and then take a second to release. Give your hand a little twinkle, give it a little bit of shake, and notice how they feel a little bit more warm, a little bit more alive. And then swing your legs out of that deer seat. Just take a last little forward fold just to stretch out through the whole back line of that fascia. Reach toward your toes, keep a little bit in the knees, and then take a nice big filling up breath. Fill into the back of the rib cage, fill into the shoulder blades, fill into your low back, down all the way to your butt. Breathe all the way down to your toes if you can. Lovely. And then when you're ready, come up nice and slow. Take a second, give everything a little shoop, shake out the etch a sketch, give it all that good bop and the wiggle. You guys are amazing. Nice work today. Happy Monday.